All right, we're here at that same Home Depot. I don't know if they'll be posted at the same time, but I just did an outing with Leela. Here with King. King's one of our protection dogs. So if you've seen Kane's video, you'll see like, okay, you know, like our protection dogs should act like normal dogs, right? Now, quick thing to mention about King's appearance right now, something you may notice is that King has a bunch of like fur that looks all matted and stuff like that. Like we just brushed him out. We brushed him out. We gave him a bath. He just finished peeing and stuff. He got a little bit of like, we had water in his crate. We had a big bucket of water and a big bucket of food in his crate in the car because, you know, we were out here with Leela for a little bit. So we just left the AC on and stuff. Had him out in the car in the AC, like running. So it was 65 degrees in there. I had it running hard. And my Volvo is back there somewhere. So he's got a little bit of like wetness on his back. He did not pee on himself. I checked. I smelled it. It's just water from the bowl that he spilled of water. And then the bucket of food, he didn't spill that, so that's good. But he does have a little bit of wetness on there because he waited. He just peed when he got out now. The other thing is you see all those tufts of hair. It's hot. It's hot. He's shedding really bad. He's blown out his coat completely. So nothing we can do about the coat blowout. We gave him, like I said, I just gave him a bath before we came out here. So he's freshly bathed. And he's got like a fresh, comb. We just brushed him. I spent like 10 minutes brushing him. We're not groomers. We do our best. I'm thinking about doing that sometime in the future, maybe having like a groomer or something like that on staff. But right now it's just us, a couple of trainers that are trying to do it. And our other trainers also like give baths and stuff like that. But because right now we have a team of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We technically have a team of 8. So there's myself and Christian, and then we've got Evan and Jonathan who work with us, who both do a bunch of training. Oh my goodness, that's a nice dookie, bro. Big old fat dookie. That's why you always wait. You gotta wait to take these doggies out. When you take them out, oh, and you also see that always happens. Their thing comes out if they're a male. You might not be able to see it very well, but their thing will come out when they go pee. I don't think you can see it, but that's an interesting thing that happens with dogs. Like if you see that they're pooping or they're trying to poop, and you see like they got their little thing like sticking all the way out, that's totally normal, man. In fact, people do it too. It happens because when you squeeze that muscle, it drives blood flow to the area. When you drive blood flow to the area, that's what happens. So happens to people, happens to dogs. They're not excited or anything like that. Don't think that that's the case necessarily. Now again, you can see I'm doing the same thing with King that I was doing with Leela, right? I'm not restricting his movement hugely or anything like that. I'm letting him go. Okay? He looks so goofy with his blown out coat. I gotta brush him again before he take him anywhere else. I wanted to make sure I got in a session today. King, let's go. King, here. Nope. King, here. There we go. King said he responds good to leash pressure, but he responds better to the e-collar. So I didn't hit it at all with Leela, but you probably will see me hit it a couple of times with King. I don't know if you can see, I got my mini educator here. It's on a 40 right now, and it's probably gonna stay around that spot, maybe a 45 at most. It just depends on like what he shows me. It could be a little bit higher, it could be a little bit lower. Fortunately, a mini educator is easy to go up and down, just like the sport dog is easy to go up and down. But again, I'm doing the same thing here, where I'm just giving him line. I'm letting him do stuff, letting him be a dog. He's been super reactive to strangers in the past. We've been training him for protection, so we've put some like controls on that, right? Where we've done a bunch of what you call boogeyman's. We have people come and jump out, right? And then you you take the thing that they already show you and then you contextualize it to that setting, right? So you add a command in, like watch, right? And you get them, and you're having this person act threatening, and then you're pointing at them, you're showing them, oh look, okay, when you see this particular situation, and especially if you see this particular situation and I give you this command, watch, you're free to go act like a lunatic. And we have some footage, and we're gonna get some more footage. We're gonna post it. We have footage of King acting like a real tough dog, right? And he's a tough boy, man. I mean, he could hurt you. He's got a lot of bite, he's got a lot of bark, he's got defense and he's got offense, right? He likes to bite. The sleeve, I got a sleeve in there, it's all torn up from King, so he loves doing that. So he's totally capable of it, right? But in these settings, our protection dogs are just like Leela. That's what we need. We need dogs just looking like Leela, looking calm, looking happy, looking interested. Even if they are a little skittish because they've been reactive, that's okay, right? We're giving them freedom, we're letting them do things. With King, I might not be as forward with letting people say hi to him as I was with Leela. King, here, nope. King, nope. Here, buddy. Here you go. Let's go. Let's go. Good boy. There you go. We're gonna reset a little bit there. Sometimes that can happen in a place where they're not super used to it, right? And that's what this is all about, is generalization and habituation. I don't think he's actually been to Home Depot. He's been to some other places, right? To the park and some other stores and stuff like that. But this is kind of a new experience for him here. So sometimes they can act completely fine at your home, or like say at our facility. But then you take them to a new place and maybe they're a little slow to react or figure out what they're gonna do. And so then what do you gotta do? Well, one is do what I'm doing now, right? Give them some extra time. If they're not responding right away the way you want them to, you don't have to go straight into like grinding on them, and heel grinding and making them do it, right? You don't have to go straight into that. But you should let them habituate, and then you should tune them up a little bit. Like, they need to know that they do have to recall even in this new setting. King, here. Yes. Good boy. King, Sitz. Nope. King, Sitz. Sitz. Yes. Good boy, right? And dogs are not like, they're not like programmed robots. He knows his commands. His commands, you'll see they're actually in German. Hi. And just so you know, his leash is unlocked right now. And King used to bark at everybody and everything. He was really crazy. But you'll see his commands are in German. Break. He was still in his Sitz there, his Sitz command. That's why he wasn't moving. He also does know the word Bleib. I'm probably saying it wrong. If you speak German, I apologize. I'm doing my best. But he was already in the Sitz command, and we do an implied stay in the Sitz, or an implied Bleib, if you will. Christian says it better than I do. But you might have to tune him up a little bit. King, here. There you go. So you saw we tuned him up once. King, Sitz. Sitz. Nope. Sitz. You can see sometimes he can be a little hesitant, right? So like you saw that yawn there. That's not anything crazy, right? So if you see a dog yawn, don't be like, oh, the dog's stressed, they're freaking out. No. Okay. That's a weird thing that people have us freaking out about sometimes on social media and other places. You can see dog trainers or people that like see some TikTok stuff about how dog trainers like see dog behavior and stuff like that, and like dog body language and whatnot. Does yawning mean that they might be under a little bit of stress? Yeah, it does, right? But is stress bad? Is it wrong for them to be under a little bit of stress in a situation that's new to them? Like he's never been to Home Depot, right? He's been to a bunch of other places, but never Home Depot. Is it wrong for him to be under a little bit of stress in this scenario when he's been reactive in the past? No. It's not. Sorry, people deal with stress, dogs deal with stress. We teach them how to deal with stress productively, right? And for King, he has two ways of dealing with stress. One way of dealing with stress is to deal with it on his own, independently, right? So he can walk up as long as he doesn't go aggro, as long as he doesn't act reactive in an inappropriate situation, right? And then the only other thing that he has to worry about doing in that scenario is listening to the things that I tell him to do, right? Otherwise, I'm going to use the e-collar, right, to reinforce. So that's all it is. We use negative reinforcement. We use positive punishment. We use both of those, right? They're briefly uncomfortable for a dog, but according to a nice principle called LIMA, often misinterpreted and misapplied, right? The originator of LIMA, Stephen Lindsay, when he talked about LIMA, he did not mean least intrusive and minimally aversive to say never intrusive at all or not aversive at all, right? Force-free advocates like to kind of try to play that card. That's not what that means. And then that's why you end up having other trainers who are not LIMA advocates, that are balance trainers, believing that same thing about what Stephen Lindsay said in his 3-volume work, which is a masterpiece, right? It's a great book, great series of books. It's a couple thousand pages long altogether between the 3 volumes. I've read all of them. They're great, and it doesn't define LIMA that way, right? If you get it straight from the horse's mouth, that's not what LIMA means. If you go on some of these force-free advocacy websites, that's what they'll tell you LIMA means, but it's not. LIMA does not mean that. Least intrusive means least intrusive. Least intrusive might be fairly intrusive, right? You think about somebody who has suicidal ideations and is intending to follow through on it, right? What does your family and friends do? Do they do something? Do they say least? Well, you know what? We don't want to intrude. We don't want to be aversive. We're going to do the least intrusive, minimally aversive thing, and that means they're going to do nothing at all. No, that's not what that means. They're going to still do something, right? But they're going to choose the least intrusive option. That solves the problem, right? Now, that all depends on, well, how intrusive and how aversive is the problem. In that case, it's a super intrusive problem and a super aversive problem. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Are we in training?
Yeah, we're in training. King's watching you. He's a good boy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Boy, aren't you?
Yeah.
Handsome.
And this is a good test for him. He's been reactive in the past, especially when somebody pays attention to us.
Okay.
But he's doing good.
Well, could be that I'm a dog mom and he knows it.
Yeah. They pick up on those vibes.
Mastered 18.
18?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not all at once, though.
Not all at once. Okay.
This big to that big.
Wow.
Take care. Enjoy.
Take care. Thank you. But yeah, least intrusive in that case is super intrusive, right? You take them away from their work, you basically kidnap them. That's aversive too, right? Same thing with your dog. What are the options for your dog? Is your dog reactive? Is your dog a bite risk? King was a bite risk. King would totally snap somebody's fingers off, right? He didn't have any bites on his record or anything like that, but he would, guarantee it. I know, because he's bit me on the sleeve at least, right? And he's shown aggression in circumstances where if he were left to his own devices, yeah, he might cause a big problem, right? Let me go ahead and set this down for a second. You want to make sure this is not too tight and not too loose. Good boy. He likes to lean on people. You're a good boy, huh? You're a smart boyo. Just make sure it's tight enough. There we go. That's about right. But not too tight. Let me check. How is it, buddy? Can I get 3 fingers in there? Yep. Yeah, I like to try to get 3 fingers in there, you know? Not just 2. 2 is acceptable, but 3 is a little nicer. See, he's watching those kids. That's a good boy, King. He didn't look predatory or anything like that, though. Good job, buddy. Anyway, he's super reactive, so you get some bites on a dog's record, and they're gonna get put down. I can't tell you how many times I've seen dogs get put down for no good reason, when all they really needed was a little bit of discipline. And in a way that you can see we're doing now. Have I pressed the e-collar? Have I been tapping this e-collar? No. No. Do I have it turned all the way up? Am I shocking him and making him heel and stuff like that? No. King has so much freedom, so much more freedom than if I made him if I was like a treat dispenser, right? Now I love giving dogs treats, but the treats dispenser thing does not help, right? Neither does the kind of like heel grinding thing, as I've talked about so many times, and I'm gonna keep talking about it because it's an important thing, right? Good job, King. Let's go, man. Good boy. Right, and you can let him look at stuff. Good job. You see he's walking by these people with no issues. Right? And see, even here, he goes ahead of me. That's acceptable. Totally fine. Let him look around. Let him smell some stuff. Now, if you do have a dog that's been especially reactive in the past, if you're going around a corner, yeah, you know, bring him back. King, here. Good. King, Sitz. Good job. Nope. King, Sitz. Oh, what was that? What is that, King?
With wheels and everything.
What is that, King? Look at those wheels.
Oh,
Ho, 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 ho. Scary. Good job. Thank you. King, Sitz. Nope. There you go. Good job. King, Bleib. Bleib. Right, and so his Sitz and his Bleib are great. Break. Yes. Good job. And you can see he's much more tolerant of this kind of stuff. Hey, buddy. Hey, come on. Come on. Come on. A little nasty. There you go. He had his foot caught up. Good job. But you can see here, I could have him heel grinding right now, right? Because I was afraid, like, oh, there's some people walking up. King, here. But if I feel like there's a lot of stuff coming, you know what? If I feel like he might be a little freaked out by it. Good job, thank you. King, Sitz. King, nope. Nope. King, Sitz. Hey, Sitz. Yes. Good job. And look, the other thing is that in this kind of new circumstance where he's looking at a bunch of stuff like that, you see him kind of looking. Break. Good job. There's nothing wrong with popping the collar a little bit, right? You didn't see me go and wail on him. That's not necessary, right? You don't have to wail on a dog. That's very unlikely to be necessary, right? But you can do a little bit of negative reinforcement and get him to go where he needs to go, right? And then you can try a little bit of like some heel work, right? Practice these things with your dogs on your walks. If you watch the rest of our videos, you'll see like that's how we train, right? We just do this, right? And then we train commands while we're doing it, right? So if I'm here, King, here, here, there you go. Yes, good boy. Good job. Good job. You saw that one, that's okay. But I'll probably turn it down a little bit from there in this particular setting because that seems like it was a little bit more of a reaction than we were looking for, right? A little bit more of a reaction than we were looking for. It doesn't need to be that extreme, right? You don't need to see that much of a jump. That wasn't crazy or anything like that, like he wasn't yelping or anything like that. Because that's definitely, you've put it up way too high or you've surprised the dog. But you know, you don't want quite so much of a jump like that, right? You want more of an ear twitch. So I might have overestimated just a little bit how excited he'd be in a place like this. But you know, like you do need to reinforce the recall. And what that does is when you negatively reinforce the recall in these kinds of scenarios, you're building reliability, right? You're building reliability, and building reliability is the same thing as maintaining reliability, just at a different stage, right? So we do exactly the same thing that everybody does with their dog. It's just you need to have a little bit higher level of consistency when you're in a teaching period, right? Otherwise, they end up not making the connections and getting the lesson. King, here. Yes. Good boy. King, Sitz. 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 Yes. Good boy. Good job. Yeah. Good job. And again, are you going to have to do that with your dog sometimes? Well, it depends. How much drive does your dog have? How much drive does your dog have, right? if you take a look at like high level IGP competitors, high level obedience competitors, when they don't do anything with their dog like they're supposed to at the obedience trials, they're not supposed to give any kind of positive punishment, any kind of negative reinforcement. They're not supposed to do anything other than just say the word, right? Here. Now you might get this a lot of the time, right? He comes right back when you say here, but then you're not allowed to give him a treat on the obedience field. Yes, good boy, good job, right? You're not allowed to do all that. Oh, you smell like flowers, buddy. That shampoo worked good on you, bud. Good boy. You know, you'll see a lot of times, I mean, people, their dog doesn't listen, and they've been training for months, high-level trainers for training on the obedience field, right? Good boy, King. Come on, buddy. Good boy. Right? And they don't listen. And then what do you have to do in a circumstance where you're not limited like that? Well, you got to put a little bit of negative reinforcement. You got to add in some positive punishment if it's something that they've done that's wrong. And then in a lot of times you have to add in a bunch of positive reinforcement to get the result that you want, right? So like in this case, I'm gonna make sure that a high drive dog like King is gonna stay under control for the long term by setting everything up like we have done, and then he knows all the commands, right? And then what we have to then do is maintain them when he goes home, right? And how do you maintain them? Do this right here. Do it in a store. Do it at the park. King, here. King, Sitz. Nope. King, Sitz. Yes. Good job. King, Bleib. Bleib. Do it in the park. Nope. Do it in the store. Sitz. Bleib. Do it in the park. Do it in the store. Do it at your house. Do it on his pee walks. Now, important thing, watch our videos in the How We Train section. I'm building in more videos. Watch our other videos. You'll see that on walks, I do not recommend that you do training for 90% of that walk. No, that's not a good maintenance walk. 80% of it's just chilling, walking around, sniffing stuff, having fun. 20% of it is recalls, and it's split out into like the whole part. So you might have the first 20%, and 5% of that is doing some training with them. The next 20%, again, 5% of that's doing some training with them. And all it has to be is this, right? This maintains your dog's training. Yes, break. Good job. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Good boy. Now, if we were in the park, I'd probably bring a toy with me, because King loves to do tug. He loves biting stuff. I might even bring a sleeve with me. He loves grabbing that sleeve. And King's, if you watch some of our other protection videos, and we'll have a lot more going up, but we have one with a dog named Kane. We have a few videos that you can see. You know, Kane's a different breed and a different kind of dog, has a different drive. And you'll see, like in Kane, he's very defensive driven, right? So it's all defense with Kane. So he's doing his thing with, yeah, you know what, we didn't go in the garden center with Leela. Let's go out here. Hear the bugs. A lot of stuff to sniff out here, the plants, people. See, let him figure it out, right? You don't have to be worried, oh, there's people there. Look how long he's off the line. King, here. All right, you can let him look around, it's fine. Good boy. You know, we need one of those fans. Those fans are nice. I like the 24 inchers. But yeah, I mean, Kane is all defensive drive, right? Well, King has a lot of prey drive. A lot of prey drive. He likes to bite, so he can do a lot more like sport dog work. You know, King can do cool stuff. He's the kind of dog that you can teach him IGP stuff. You can teach him to run across the yard and jump through the air and bite a sleeve or something like that. King, here. Nope. Here. Yes. And you can see again there, like our flow. Good job. I'm letting him, for the last 5 minutes, just look around, right? And then I'm recalling him now. You can see, what's that, King? What is that, dude? I don't know what the... It's a whole bunch of stuff, pavers and stuff like that. You see, I'm not making a big deal of that. I'm letting King walk by. He's not reactive to that. He doesn't care about those people. He doesn't care about that thing. He's chilling. He's having a good time. Right? But he's obedient. He's listening. Right? He's recalling. And what I was going to say there about like kind of like our command flow is with King. King, here. Yes. Good job. King, foos. Foos. And you can see he does no foos, right? Foos. Foos. Good job. No, I don't like having him in foos for a long time. Break. Good job. Because ultimately, foos, which is just German for heel, is a duration command. Come on, let's go. I don't like when he crosses over to my right side. There you go. Good job, buddy. But yeah, I mean, like his obedience is nice. It's pretty nice, and his protection looks really good. He really will light up for you. He lights up really nice when you give him the watch command with something that he's interested in at all, like something he's suspicious about, which he's suspicious. King is suspicious of a lot of things. So yeah, he's really good for that. But let me probably try to finish this video up pretty quick. Hopefully you can see like he does great. He heals with me, so he does foos, he does Sitz, he does Bleib. King, here. He recalls just fine. You might need a nope every once in a while, but not like anything crazy, especially if you reinforce with the e-collar. King, Sitz. That's a nice Sitz. King, Bleib. He stays just fine. Right, and I can make it harder on him. I can do a little juke. Do some quick movements. Yes, break. And he won't get up till I say break, right? He knows let's go, right? And we'll have some videos of his protection work coming up pretty soon as well that you can look for in our protection playlist. I've done lots of boogeymans with him. We've done quite a bit of the bite training with him. Looks great. We'll have that stuff all up. This video is getting close to like 30 minutes-ish or so, and I have somewhere to be. So I'll probably just finish up and walk him out real quick. But you can see he can walk by anybody just fine. Even like I can walk closer, right? And like he's a little interested, he sniffs, but lots of dogs are interested in sniff. You don't have to worry about that, right? So the other thing is like, okay, how does he deal with like a big person here with a head-on confrontation kind of thing, right? How does he do with that? King, good job. That's all he does. He wants to smell. He wants to sniff, but he's not doing anything about it. Good job. King, here. Here. Good boy. King, Sitz. That's a little pretty echoey, huh? King, Sitz. Bleib. And I don't know if the camera caught that or not. I hope it did. King, let's go. King, foos. Foos. Good foos. Yes, break. Good job. I would do what I did with Leela before, but I don't have a lot of time. So I've done that lots of times with King already. I don't think I've done it at all on camera. I might do it later tonight if I have time, or maybe tomorrow. I might do a little bit of that. Here, come on, buddy. Let's run. King likes to run. He's fast. Fast as fudge. Get him off the concrete here though. Or not the concrete, this is a little bit hotter than concrete, it's asphalt. Get you onto this red stuff here. King, you gotta use the bathroom or anything? Go ahead and do it if you want. I love watching King run, man. He's so fast. You're a good boy, huh, King? You know, I'm gonna give you a free treat. You want it? Yes. Good boy. All right, well, we're about to hop back in the car. I'll probably split this into some sections and put up some shorts and stuff like that with him. But yeah, he's a specimen of a dog, a really good dog. Leave it. Out! That's actually one of his protection commands. Yes, good boy. You can either say it out or you can say ouse. He knows both because he's trained with myself and with Christian, and Christian often will say ouse, because it's easier for Christian to say for some reason. But I will often say out, which I think is actually an incorrect pronunciation. Here. Good boy, King. So he ended up knowing both, which is fine. It's still both. It's just the German. But I also will sometimes use it if I'm training with a protection dog. I'll use it in like these kinds of scenarios where I just want him to leave something alone, because it's also how we get him to release. If we have him in a sleeve like this with our arm, right? If we have an arm in a sleeve and he's biting it, that's how we'll get him to leave that as well. So it's his release command. Yeah, that's about all for King. He looks great. He's doing great. Coat's a little blown out, but his obedience is really good. His reactivity is pretty much gone. And just you know, follow up on our work and watch what we're doing. And who knows, maybe we'll see King for some follow-up sessions if we record them, and do some stuff with him, protection-wise, with his owners, his handlers, and stuff like that. And hopefully you guys can see some of it. But yeah, King, got anything to say? You smart? You good boy? It's good. Why do you still have that other chain on? Yes, good boy. He doesn't really need that on anymore. Anyway, he's got his flat collar on. That's the one we put him on when he does the protection, because we want him to be able to pull. But yep, that's about all for King. Yes, good boy.